Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be drafting this pencil dress that you are seeing on the thumbnail with a princess, that kind of vibes, and it's also snatched on the body with this long sleeve and voluminous detailing at the wrist region. So if you want to see that, keep on watching. But by the way, please subscribe to my channel and then thumbs up this video. It really helps me. Okay, I am close to the window so there is no light, so if you're hearing any noise, I'm sorry about that, because there's a church literally beside me and then a road, so cars are going to be passing. Anyways, let's get right into it. So the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to come here and mark down 1 inch. I'll go ahead and roll it. It is going to serve as our starting point, and then this is our front pattern. So because this is a button down outfit, we will first of all mark out 3 inches. These 3 inches we are marking out is going to serve as our cover, like where the button is going to overlap each other. So where you're going to put your button and also where your buttonhole is going to be done. So you're going to go ahead and roll the 3 inches together. What we're going to be doing now is to take our vertical measurements, and for us to do that, I'll come here and get my upper bust length. My upper bust length is 6 inches. Then my bust length is 11 inches. My waist length is 16.5 inches. Then my hip length is 27 inches. My knee length, usually your knee length, my knee length is 40, but I come up by 2 inches so that I'm going to have ease for walking. You understand? So instead of me to use 40 inches, I'm going to use 38. At this point that I'm going to start, like, you know, what is going to make the pencil to be pencil. Do you understand? So I'm going to come up by 2 inches, 38. You can even decide to come up higher. It all depends on how you want your cloth to look, but by the time you see how it looks on me, you know that you want this or you want to alter your own. So 48 is going to be the full length. Now this will not be the full length of this outfit. I want it to be really midi, so I'm going to still add on the material. I want to make it towards 53, including sewing allowance, so that by the time I'm done, it's going to give like that classy, sexy vibes. So I'll go ahead and replicate this thing again and then join, like line it, and then move on to the next one. So I'll go ahead and label it upper bust length, this is my waist length, and then we need our hip length, then the knee length, and then the full length. Guys, if you want to know how to take a comprehensive measurement, I have a detailed video on my channel already. I am going to be linking it in the description box. We will now go ahead and take the horizontal measurements. So we're going to start at this point here. Remember, we are not going to use this side to do anything. You're going to take all your measurements from starting from this 3 inches line. So I'm going to take my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 15 inches. I'm going to divide it by 2. That's 7.5. 7.5. I'm going to add 1 inch. It's going to be 8.5. And then I'm going to mark it here. I'll come down here at the upper bust length and also mark the 8.5 here. Then when I mark this, I'll go ahead and connect the 2 of them together. Then from this particular point, I'm going to get my shoulder slope. So I am going to go down by 1 inch. At this point, I'll go down by 1 inch. Then I'll come to my neckline at this end, and I think this thing is too high. So guys, I felt like what I was showing you is too high. I rather let me concentrate on a particular place. So let me start again. At this point, we are going to go in by 7.5, which is our shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2, 7.5. So I'm going to add plus 1, which is going to be 8.5. So I'm going to mark it here. I'll come and mark that same 8.5 at the under bust length at this point. So for me to get my shoulder slope, I'll come at this point and come down by 1 inch. Can you see? I've already marked my 1 inch here. So I'll come to my neckline. I am going to be using straight inward this way, 3 inches. Then I'm going to come down here by 1 inch. I will also come to this side because it's the neckline, and also come here by 1 inch. You understand? So what I will now do is to connect these together. I'll be using this curve ruler. Please, if you don't have a curve ruler, don't even bother yourself. You can use your free hand to connect these. It doesn't really matter. Do you understand? So now I've connected it. I'll now start from here and join it to this place to get my shoulder slope. for my armhole, I'll just divide this into two, get the center at this point, and then I'll go in by 050. You should know that this our armhole, there's a likelihood that I'm going to resize it by the time I am done. At the upper bust length, I am going to mark my bust measurements. My bust is 44 divided by 4 is 11, but I'll be using, because this is a shirt outfit, you know, you have to give ease for movement. So what I'll use is 11.5. So by the time I'll finish, it will be 46 inches for the bust region. So I'll use 11.5 for this place. Do you understand? I'll also come and mark this at the bust line, 11.5 at this point. I'll now come here and connect this from this point to this point to this point, so that I can get my round armhole. Next thing we are going to do now is to create our princess dart, and how we are going to do that is to use our bust pan. Bust pan is nipple divided by 2. Mine is 8, so if I divide it by 2, it's going to give me 4 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my 4 inches here from the bust line. I will not mark it here, I'm going to mark it from the bust line. So I'll mark my 4 inches all the way to the full length, and then I'll connect everything together. At this waistline here, at the dark line, I am going to go in by 1.5 inches on both sides. Now, if you are someone that you are smaller bust, like from bust 46 to probably bust 40, or yeah, you should use like 1 inch or even 0.75 will be okay for you. But me, I am using this because of how my body is shaped. So I'm also going to take this dart line exactly this way all the way to the full length. So I will now connect everything together all the way to the full length. So the next thing you are going to do is to come and connect this from this 1.5 to this bust point. The next thing we are going to be doing is to use our curve ruler and connect from our bust point to this our shoulder line that is here. So on my bust line, I am going to be using 11.5. Remember, I am going to start from here to take my measurement and not from the full length. I'll put 11.5 here. Then I'll go ahead and add 1 inch for my sewing allowance here. Go ahead and do the same for the upper bust length. I'll do my 11.5 here, which is here. Then I'll add my sewing allowance, which is 1 inch. So we are at the waist length now. So for the waist length, my waist length is 30, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using 32, so that is going to give me, you know, this is a button outfit. Do you get? So the 32, I'm going to divide it by 4, which is 8. So I'll now start from here and take my measurement from this 3 inches line and take my measurement, and what I have from here to this first dart leg is 2.5. So it is this 2.5 I'm going to start from at this other second dart leg, and then get my 8 inches, that is my waist measurement. This is here. Then I'll go ahead and add 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Then for my hip length, what I am doing is, my hip length is 50, so I'll be using 52 for this. So I am going to do 52 divided by 4, which is going to give me about 52 divided by 4 should be, I think, 13, right? Yes, I think it's 13. Yes. So let me make sure, please. 52 divided by 4. Yes, it's 13. So I'm going to start from here, from this beginning here, this 3 inches, and then I'll come to the first dart leg. Of course, I already know that it's 2.5 inches. So I'll start my 2.5 inches from here and get my my hip length, my hip measurement. Ouch. And my hip measurement in this case is 13 inches. So I'm going to mark the 13 inches here. Then I also mark my sewing allowance, which is 1 inch. Let me go ahead and rule this very well so that we can see. So at the knee length, what we'll be doing is, remember that this outfit is a pencil dress. So at this knee length, I'm going to subtract 8 to get my round knee. At the knee length, I'm going to subtract 8 from my actual round hip. My actual round hip is 50 divided by minus 8 is 42. So this 42 now, I'm going to add 2 inches to it, which is making it 44, so that it's going to give me ease. Do you understand? So it's this 44 that I'm now going to, I'm going to divide by 4, and then which is 11. Then I'll mark my outfit here. So the measurement here. So I know that I'm using 11 for my round knee. I already know that from here to here is 2 inches. Yep. So we're going to start from we're going to start from 2 inches. Sorry, 2.5 inches, not 2 inches. And then we'll get our 11 inches. And then I am going to mark my 11 inches at this point. Then I also mark my sewing allowance 1 inch here. So for the full length, what we are going to be doing is, you know what we had at the knee length was what? 11 inches, right? So I'm going to subtract 2 inches from 11 inches, making it 9 inches. This is going to help give us that our snatched pencil effects that we want. So I already know that from here to here is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to start from here and get my 2.5 and get my 9 inches, which is here. Then I will also get my 1 inch, which is 10 inches, which is here. I'll mark it. Come back to our hip length. On this our hip length, at this our measurements here, we are going to go down by 2 inches. This is 2 inches. Do you get? So I am going to mark this thing that we have here. Our measurement point down at this point is from these 2 inches that I'm going to connect to the knee length. This is going to help and eliminate, you know, when you're sewing clothes and the hip length is going to have like that ear kind of vibes, and you don't want that. I'll now connect from here to our full length. I'll connect from here to our full length. So now I'm going to be using this my hip curve to connect from the waist length to this hip line here. So can you see the way I've put this my hip line, my hip curve? So I'm going to connect this to here. And then I also do the same for the sewing allowance section. I also connect this. So I'll now use my normal straight ruler and connect from the upper bust length. Remember that this upper bust length is the measurement that we have for the bust length as well. So I'll just connect it straight to the waist length here. And then I'll also do the same for the sewing allowance. So guys, I'll go ahead and write, this is my center front, and then this is my side front. I'll also label it 1, 2. Then this is the 3 inches for our buttonhole and cover button. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. We are not going to be using this place, so we are going to slash this side out. So you're going to watch me carefully as I cut this out. Guys, please, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, okay? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then leave a comment. If there's another tutorial that you want for me to do for you, just let me know. So guys, I made a mistake. I don't want to cut this that place out yet, so I'm going to sellotape it back. So before we go ahead and cut out the back pattern, I'll go ahead and fold these 3 inches that we added here. Remember, we added these 3 inches for our cover button and buttonhole. This is going to be our center bag. Let me mark it, write it here, center bag. I am going to come here and mark out 1.5 inches. I'll get my front pattern and place it here, but it's going to start from our 1.5 inches sewing allowance, okay? So now I've placed it, you can see the 1.5 inches that is our center bag. I need to know that this is the hip length, so I'll go ahead. I can see that blue mark here. From here I'll go ahead and mark this here. Also extend the knee length line. I also extend it out, and then I also extend my waist line out as well. We are going to come to the hip length, sorry, the waist length at this point, at this waist length. I am going to go in by 1.5 here. Please, if you are smaller, like maybe from a size 8 to a size 14, or sorry, 12, you can go ahead and use just 1 inch at your waistline. But for me, I'm going to go in by 1.5. So at this my hip line, I am going to go up by 2.5. I'll go up and down by 2.5 inches. Do you understand? Please, if you are a hip of, let me say from 34, 36 to 40, 1.5, 2 inches is okay for you. So I'll go up by 2.5 here. Then at my knee length at this point, I'm going to go in by 1.5 inches also go in by 1.5 inches all the way to the full length. I'm going to connect this to this our waist length that we went in by 1.5. from the waistline, I'll connect it to these 2.5 inches that we came up from the hip line. So I'll connect it back to this place. From these 2.5 inches that's below the hip line, I am going to connect this to the 1.5 inches that we went in at the knee length. Do you understand? This is what we are going to do, and then we are now going to go ahead and take this down to the full length, and that is going to be our how we're going to cut our back pattern. With this now, you don't have to impute any form of that into your clothes, like are good to go. So what I'll go ahead and do is to align this back from that 1.5 inches that we had initially. Now go ahead and cut out this pattern. We are going to cut out these parts. We're not going to be needing all these parts. Do you get? So I'll now go ahead and cut this out. I'll go ahead and label it back pattern. You see that our back pattern does not have any dart opening on it, aside from the opening at the center back. So with this, you have built in all the shape of your body. Hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up this video. If you want to see the sewing aspect of this, is going to be in the next video. Okay, so I'll also be linking it in this description box. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.